Hey everyone, Brandon from Brandon's Baseball Cards here. Tonight's video is a little bit different than a lot of the videos that I typically do. I'm going to talk with you and show you some of the rare rack packs from the 1980s. The reason I wanted to do this video is because when you hear 1980s baseball cards, a lot of us think of this type stuff. You know, the mass-produced stuff from 1986 and onward, what we really refer to as the junk wax era. And while that is an unfortunate legacy of baseball card collecting in the 80s, there was a lot of mass-produced product. There's a lot of product in the late 80s in particular that doesn't really have a lot of value. But if you've watched my channel and if you're familiar with my rack pack collection, I have quite a few rack packs from the 80s. In fact, the majority of my rack packs are from the 80s, simply because that's the era that's really actually affordable now compared to earlier rack packs. But even while a lot of packs in the 80s are affordable, there are still some really rare 1980s rack packs out there, and some of them are almost prohibitively expensive. So I'm going to talk about a few of these tonight. Now, this is not an all-encompassing guide. I'm focusing specifically on Fleer and O-Pee-Chee rack packs, but hopefully this will be interesting and informative. The first pack that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about 1984 Fleer Baseball. This is a rack pack. There are two different versions. There is a 1984 Fleer Cello rack pack, like that which is featured here. This particular rack is notable because it has the best rookie card in the set on top, the Don Mattingly rookie card. But there are just not a lot of these around. And when you see one pop up on eBay, they're expensive, especially if a star card is showing on top. One sold, I believe, a few weeks ago on eBay that had a Tony Gwynn second-year card on top, and I believe it sold for around $100. So not cheap. Especially compared to some of the Topps products from this time. You know, you can get a 1984 Topps rack pack right now for around $14 or $15. So to put it in perspective, if you want a Fleer rack pack, you're going to have to pay up, and especially if you want one with a star player showing. And this applies whether it's a cello, which I think which seem to be more rare, but also what we call a wax rack or a grocery rack pack. This is from the Ripping Vintage Packs site. This is a rack pack that is not a cello, obviously, or it's not a cello in the sense that you can see the cards inside. This is a rack pack that consists of three wax packs, right? And so, if you're a collector of rack packs, such as myself, I happen to have a few of these. This is a really, really pretty pack, right? But it's also very, very rare. This is not a pack that comes up very often at all. You could see Ripping Vintage Packs currently has 4 in stock. Whenever I see one, I try to snatch it up, or if I see several, I try to at least get one. I actually have one that just came in the mail today, actually, that I'm going to send to Baseball Card Exchange. But this is another very rare pack that you just don't see that much of. Now you can get this for, I think the Ripping Vintage Packs price is a pretty standard market price. This pack is around $30 to $40. Still not cheap. Again, if you're comparing this to other product from 1984, it's actually rather expensive. But if you're a breaker, this is actually a really great pack, because if you're someone that wants to bust some packs from this era, these wax racks, there's no way to search these. There's no way for anyone to be able to move the cards around and see, oh, well, these are the cards that are in this pack. There's no way to determine the collation, really, because you can't see in. The packs are protected. So this is actually a really, really great product if you're looking for a mid-80s to break open. It's hard to find. I wouldn't necessarily recommend opening a bunch of them, but if you wanted to open 1 or 2 of these, hey, you're getting some untampered with packs, which is always nice. Now, sticking with the 1984 theme, I'm going to discuss probably the rarest pack of the video. and that is 1984 O-Pee-Chee. Now, a lot of you know O-Pee-Chee, or if you don't know O-Pee-Chee, this is the Canadian version of Tops. And O-Pee-Chee made very, very, very few rack packs. And the 1984 O-Pee-Chee, is actually probably, in my estimate, based on what I know, probably the rarest rack pack of the 1980s. And they're not really sure why these are so rare, but there's speculation. Some suggest that this was 84 O-Pee-Chee was overproduced, and so O-Pee-Chee tried to distribute their product in rack packs. Or they had a rack pack prototype that they were experimenting with, and it just didn't work out. There's speculation. No one really knows for sure, or I haven't found anyone that knows for sure. If you know for sure, please let me know, and I'd love to hear from you. But what's so interesting is that in addition to being not mass produced, if you look close at the pack, you actually see, it's hard to tell in this image, but you actually see 1982 on the date of the wrapper. And it's because O-Pee-Chee made hockey rack packs in 1982, and rather than create a whole new packaging for their 84 O-Pee-Chee baseball, they simply put the 84 O-Pee-Chee baseball in the cellophane that was intended for 82 hockey. So kind of interesting, kind of a cheap manufacturing trick, but a really, really awesome item. I'm going to see if we can zoom in. Well, this is the back of the O-Pee-Chee, but these are incredibly, incredibly, incredibly rare. And I actually have a few that are actually coming. There's a close-up of they look just like 84 Tops, except they have the O-Pee-Chee logo, right? And the set is smaller. Those are the only real differences, or some of the differences. So very, very rare pack. Again, I have one of these currently at Baseball Card Exchange, and another one that's on the way to Baseball Card Exchange. So I'm very, very excited to add those to my collection. So this is a teaser, but you will see these along with a few other really cool rack packs, hopefully in the next few weeks when Baseball Card Exchange completes my order. They are slammed right now. But building on our discussion of O-Pee-Chee, there's another very, very rare O-Pee-Chee rack pack to be aware of. And similar to the 84 Fleer that we've already talked about, this is what's known as a wax rack. This is and unlike most rack packs, which actually have three cells in them, this is a 1980 O-Pee-Chee wax rack that has 4 packs in the pack. So unusual, another very rare item. I'm not sure how much is known about this item either. Very rare. To get one of these authenticated from Baseball Card Exchange, an authenticated 1980 O-Pee-Chee rack pack, as of a few months ago, before the craziness with the market took off, these were $300. Now they're probably $350 to $400. And what's so crazy is in the 1980 O-Pee-Chee, there's no Henderson rookie, right? So this is not an item that is valuable because, there's a possible Henderson in here, right? There's no Henderson possible. This is just valuable because of the rarity of the item, because you just don't see a lot of them. So very, very cool. I actually really like the top here with the baseball logo. I think that's very, very retro looking. I do not have any of these. If I ever get one, you guys will be the first to know. Just a couple others to keep in mind if you're thinking to start a mid-80s collection and you're looking for some packs that weren't mass-produced or that are just not as common. There's a lot to choose from, including we've already talked about 1984 Fleer, 1985 Fleer, and this is also a year where there is a cello, right? Which sometimes they pop up on eBay, but they're still not common, and certainly not as common as 85 Tops. If you search on eBay for 1985 Tops, you'll see a lot of 85 Tops. And these are also, while a rack pack of 85 Tops is $20 to $25, give or take, you can expect to spend, probably I'd say 30 to 35, maybe a little bit more for a cello 85 Fleer. especially more if there's a key star showing, right? So this is the 85 Fleer, and just like the 84 Fleer, there is a wax rack version of 85 Fleer. So 3 wax packs in a rack pack, and as you can see, Ripping Vintage Packs is currently, they are out of this. This is out of stock, and these are listed at probably a pretty fair market value, just like the 84 Fleer, they're $40. So, these aren't as expensive, especially compared to the O-Pee-Chee. An 84 O-Pee-Chee pack is probably going to cost you around $80 to $100 because of just the rarity of it, right? Again, the 80 O-Pee-Chee, you're looking at several $100s easily. These are rare packs. But some of these you can actually get, if you can get them. They're nice collectibles, and they're very nice. They display well. If anyone's seen my 84 Fleer wax racks, they're very nice looking. I enjoy having them in my collection. But that is all I have for you guys tonight. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear feedback on this, or if you have any questions about any rack packs from this era, I will try my best to answer them. If I know the answer, I don't always know the answer. But as always, hope you're doing well. Hang in there. Keep collecting vintage baseball.